About Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt Jr., often referred to as Teddy or by his initials, T.R., was an American politician, statesman, conservationist, naturalist, and writer, who served as the 26th President of the United States from 1901 to 1909. Born on October 27, 1858, in New York City, Roosevelt was the second of 4 children born into a socially prominent family of Dutch and English ancestry. His father, Theodore Roosevelt Sr., was a noted businessman and philanthropist. And his mother, Martha Bulloch of Georgia, came from a wealthy, slave-owning plantation family. In frail health as a boy, Roosevelt was educated by private tutors. Roosevelt held various positions in New York politics, rising up the ranks to serve as the state's 33rd governor for 2 years. He later served as the 25th vice president under President William McKinley for 6 months in 1901. Assuming the presidency after McKinley's assassination. As president, Roosevelt emerged as a leader of the Republican Party and became a driving force for antitrust and progressive policies. He expanded the powers of the presidency and of the federal government to support public interest in conflicts between big business and labor. He increased the U.S. role in world politics. Roosevelt won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1906 for mediating an end to the Russo-Japanese War 1904–05. And he secured the route and began construction of the Panama Canal 1904–1914. Roosevelt died on January 6, 1919, in Oyster Bay, New York. His legacy as a champion of progressive policies and his love for nature continues to influence American politics and culture. Theodore Roosevelt's political career began when he was elected to the New York State Assembly at the age of 23, serving 2 terms from 1882 to 1884. His early involvement in politics was marked by his energetic and reform-minded approach, which continued throughout his political career. After his time in the State Assembly, Roosevelt retreated from political life for a period, following the tragic deaths of his mother and first wife on the same day in 1884. He spent the next 2 years on a ranch he owned in the Badlands of the Dakota Territory, where he lived as a cowboy and worked as a frontier sheriff. Upon returning to New York, Roosevelt resumed his political career. He served in various roles, including on the U.S. Civil Service Commission under President Benjamin Harrison, as president of the New York City Police Board, and as Assistant Secretary of the Navy under President William McKinley. Roosevelt's national political prominence rose when he led the Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry regiment, to victory in the Battle of San Juan Hill during the Spanish–American War. This military success boosted his popularity and paved the way for his election as governor of New York later in 1898. In 1900, Roosevelt was selected as William McKinley's running mate for the presidential election, and they were successful in their campaign. Roosevelt served as vice president for 6 months, before assuming the presidency after McKinley's assassination in September 1901. Roosevelt's political career was characterized by his progressive policies, his desire to check the power of large corporations, and his commitment to conservation. His dynamic and vigorous approach to politics, along with his readiness to challenge established norms, made him a significant figure in American political history. Theodore Roosevelt's policies were wide-ranging, and had a significant impact on many aspects of American society. Here are some of his key policies. 1. Square deal. This was Roosevelt's domestic policy that aimed for fairness for all citizens. It involved regulation of railroads, breaking up of bad trusts, and ensuring pure food and drugs. 2. Conservationism. Roosevelt was a dedicated conservationist. He set aside some 200 million acres for national forests, reserves, and wildlife refuges during his presidency. 3. Big stick diplomacy. This was Roosevelt's foreign policy. He believed in negotiating peacefully while also showing military strength. 4. Workers' rights. Roosevelt supported workers' rights to organize, 8-hour workdays for federal employees, workers' compensation, and an income and inheritance tax on wealthy Americans. 5. Food and drug safety. He passed laws to ensure the safety of food and drugs sold in the American marketplace. These policies reflect Roosevelt's progressive approach to governance and his commitment to ensuring fairness and justice in American society. Theodore Roosevelt is often considered the conservationist president, due to his significant contributions to the conservation of natural resources in the United States. Here are some of his notable accomplishments. 1. Establishment of the United States Forest Service. USFS Roosevelt established the USFS in 1905, which led to the conservation of forests for continued use. 2. Creation of national parks and monuments. Roosevelt established 5 national parks and 18 national monuments. This was made possible by the 1906 American Antiquities Act, which he enabled. 3. Establishment of national forests, bird reserves, and game preserves. Roosevelt set aside 150 national forests, 51 federal bird reserves, and 4 national game preserves. 4. Conservation of public lands. During his presidency, Roosevelt protected approximately 230 million acres of public land. 5. Newlands Act of 1902. This act funded irrigation projects from the proceeds of the sale of federal lands in the West. 6. Inland Waterways Commission and National Conservation Commission. Roosevelt appointed these commissions in 1907 and 1909, respectively, to study and plan for the preservation of national resources. Roosevelt's conservation efforts have left a lasting legacy, and his dedication to preserving nature continues to influence American environmental policy today. Theodore Roosevelt had numerous accomplishments during his presidency. Here are some of the key ones. 1. Trust-busting. Roosevelt was known for his trust-busting policy, where he sought to break up business monopolies. He enforced the Sherman Antitrust Act and initiated lawsuits against 43 big businesses. 2. Nobel Peace Prize. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1906 for mediating an end to the Russo-Japanese War. 3. Panama Canal. Roosevelt played a significant role in the completion of the Panama Canal, which created a new sea route connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. These accomplishments reflect Roosevelt's progressive approach to governance and his commitment to ensuring fairness and justice in American society. Theodore Roosevelt was a prolific writer who authored numerous books on a wide range of topics. Here are some of his notable works. 1. The Naval War of 1812, published in 1882. This book is a detailed history of the War of 1812 between the United States and the United Kingdom. 2. Hunting Trips of a Ranchman, published in 1885. This book details Roosevelt's experiences and observations while hunting in the Dakota Territory. 3. Theodore Roosevelt, an autobiography, published in 1913. This book is Roosevelt's personal account of his life and career. 4. Through the Brazilian Wilderness, published in 1914. This book recounts Roosevelt's expedition into the Brazilian jungle. 5. African Game Trails, an account of the African wanderings of an American hunter-naturalist, published in 1988. This book details Roosevelt's hunting experiences in East Africa. 6. The Strenuous Life, published in 1899. This book is a collection of speeches and essays that encapsulate Roosevelt's belief in the moral benefit of hard work. These books provide a glimpse into Roosevelt's diverse interests and experiences, ranging from history and politics to nature and adventure. Theodore Roosevelt is known for his eloquent and impactful quotes. Here are some of his most famous ones. 1. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. 2. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. 3. Believe you can and you're halfway there. 4. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. These quotes reflect Roosevelt's values and beliefs, and they continue to inspire people today. One of his most famous quotes is number 2. This quote by Theodore Roosevelt is about the value of trying hard and participating, even if one fails. as opposed to sitting on the sidelines and criticizing others. Here's a simpler explanation. Don't pay attention to the person who always criticizes. It's not the critic who matters, but the person who is actually trying to do something. This person might fail again and again, because there's no effort without mistakes. But they are actually trying to achieve something great. They are passionate and dedicated, and they put themselves into a worthy cause. Even if they fail, at least they tried bravely. So, they are never like those people who don't even try, and know neither victory nor defeat. Roosevelt is consistently ranked as one of the greatest U.S. presidents. His dynamic personality, achievements, and leadership during a period of rapid national growth are well remembered. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends.